Today's video is brought to you by COVID-19, who for the second time removed all will to read for at least a week, caused me to binge watch and currently binge watch 3 different cable TV shows, and has put me into a funk all around. So hopefully I can get through this video. I'm going to try not to cough. I'm feeling better. It's not going very quickly, but I am definitely improving. So here we go. Hey Booktube, it's Kim at middle of the book march, and this is my bookish week for Saturday, December 17th, as I'm looking at the date over there. I am improving from COVID for the second time. The first time I got it about a year and 3 months ago, last year. So I've been home for a week and a half that I haven't left the house. I'm going a little crazy. I just have not had the energy to read. I actually have been getting really quickly frustrated with books, and anything I pick up I've just been getting annoyed with and have been discarding pretty quickly. And so I gave myself a release from reading because I can't concentrate, and I'm just getting really, I don't know, I feel like I'm in a reading funk, and I feel like I'm in a rut. But I think it's a combination of things, and I'll talk about that because honestly, I haven't read anything for a week and a half. I have a couple of things that I'm dipping in and out of, but I wouldn't even call them currently reading. So let me kind of, I don't know, I have a few things to show you. But one of the things I wanted to talk about is reading hangover. I have a major one because I keep comparing everything that I'm picking up to this magnificent book that I just finished. And I feel like that's half of my trouble is I'm making the comparisons, and nothing can beat this book. Nothing can compare. Nothing can match it. And this, of course, is The Count of Monte Cristo. I finished this for the second time just a week or so ago. And honestly, I don't know. I may be done reading for the rest of the year because I can't find anything that's as incredible of an experience as this book. And it's not fair. It's not fair to compare things to it. And I also know that I will give classics far higher ratings than I will other novels. So that's also quite unfair. I don't know, but I love them. I adore them. And my reading experience is a lot more satisfying. I don't know if it's simply the quality of the writing or what a classic book tells me or shows me, the stories, the author's styles that create the stories. And I've wanted to pick up another one by the end of this year, but I don't think I'm in the right frame of health or mind to do that. So I've kind of, in the last week and a half, like I said, released myself from any pressure to pick up a new book and have something currently reading, but I just haven't been able to concentrate. I actually DNF'd 2 books, and maybe, being sick was part of it, maybe just not liking them. I can just not like a book. But these were kind of disappointing, and honestly, if I DNF, any book I DNF is disappointing to me because I don't want to DNF a book. I don't want to pick up a book I don't like. I don't want to dislike a book. Who does? When you pick up a book, you're like hoping for a good story, good writing, interesting characters. You want to have the experience. Isn't that why we read to begin with? There's all kinds of reasons people give for loving to read, but isn't that ultimately why we're doing it? Is for the experience, whether it's nonfiction or fiction, whether it's a classic or a mystery or a romance or a how-to manual, a memoir, who knows? It's an experience. Some of them are better than others. Some of them are more well-written. Some of them have better characters. Some of them have far better plots. So any DNF is a disappointment. I DNF'd Daisy Darker very early, Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney, and I'm a big Alice Feeney fan, but this one just was poorly represented for me. This was written from a first-person point of view from a chronically ill young woman who constantly reminds you of a chronic illness. So of course that's going to come into play in the plot. But I only got like 25 pages into this book, and I knew I was not going to like this. Compared with the reviews I've already seen, I gave up quickly. It read to me like an instruction manual. Like she was telling you the steps all along the way. She was telling you the things. Here, look out for this. Here, I'm going to explain this. Here, I'm going to tell you all about this. I gave up. And I was disappointed because I really like Alice Feeney's books. So I'm not gonna go back to that. The other one I DNF'd was How Y'all Doin' by Leslie Jordan. And I got to about the 60% point on this audiobook, which is charming because he narrates the book. But it's a celebrity memoir. I'm not typically a celebrity memoir fan unless it's a story about that person, not their Hollywood career. I'm not interested in the name dropping and I worked with this person and they were lovely. I worked with that person and they were lovely. I worked on this show and it was the best experience of my life. He does all that. He talks about all that. He talks about a numerous number of celebrities, and I'm just I'm not into it. I'm not there for that. And it was a very cute, charming book, but I need more than cute, and I wrote that in my Goodreads. I'm not a reader who looks for cozy or charming books. Once in a while, I'll pick one up, and I have several that I know are going to be cozy that I'm actually looking forward to, but that's not my typical go-to, and this was a good example. I really wanted to finish this and love it because I thought Leslie Jordan was such a funny, honest, wonderful, ebullient man, and he died tragically not too long ago, and I thought it was extremely sad. So I like him. I liked his persona. It's just the book. I gave up with the book. I wasn't. Maybe it's because I'm sick and cynical and jaded and in a bad mood all around. I don't know, but I just gave up. It was too cute for me. So what am I doing now? I honestly don't know. There are 3 shows so far. 2 that one that I finished binge watching. I binge watched Grace and Frankie for like the 5th time, the entire series. I now have started watching Frasier from, I don't even remember when that show first came on. It's an old show. But that one's good for me because it's in 20, 25-minute blocks. It's easy to watch, very funny, smartly written. And so I can watch a little tiny piece of it and then go lay down. Or I can watch a little piece of it and then go do something else or, whatever. Based on Grace and Frankie, I started watching Longmire, which if you ever watch Grace and Frankie, you know that Frankie likes the shows Longmire and Ray Donovan. And Longmire is a Western mystery series, but it's set in contemporary Wyoming. And I started watching it, and I'm hooked. I love it. I don't even know what season I'm on. I love this show. And Walt Longmire is the main character. I'm infatuated. I think I love the show. Every show has a conclusion. So it's a police mystery set in the West. So it's, it's not too high tech and it's not like an FBI show or anything. And I'm just enraptured with it. I love it. So, and that's what I'm currently watching. I've watched a few movies here and there. What did I watch the other day? And I don't even remember. My brain power is like at 60% tops. Yeah. So that's what I've been doing. I've been just laying down a lot. Why did I get sick again? I don't know. It's not bad. It really isn't. It feels like I have a cold. I'm a fan of vaccines, so I was boosted and everything, and whatever. I got it. That's okay. I was out of work all this week, working from home. I took Monday as a sick day, but then I was working from home. So I'm doing all right. I sound worse than I feel, I think. I get pretty tired pretty quickly. But that's fine because I can go lay down even if I'm working on my laptop while I'm watching Longmire. So here's what I decided to do about my reading. I can't get into a novel right now. If I don't read another book by the end of the year, I'm happy. I'm happy with what I did for the year. And I've gone through and I've looked at all the books that I've read and I've kind of set up, my 10 best, my 10 worst. all of those superlatives that booktubers tend to do by the end of the year. So I've been checking those out. But I do have a couple of books that I'm dipping in and out of, and I wanted to show you those really quickly. My friend Britta Bowler sent me a book when I became a grandmother in August, and it's a collection of essays and stories and photos about grandmothers. And the title is For She is the Tree of Life, Grandmothers Through the Eyes of Women Writers, edited by Valerie Cack Bryce. And it's a book that's really easy for me to keep on my nightstand, which it's been since I received it. And I've been dipping in and out and reading essays, and there's some short stories, and there's a lot of really fun photographs all about grandmothers. One of the first pictures that I just loved, I thought it was hilarious because even my daughter tells me, you look too young to be a grandmother. And when we have a stereotype of a grandmother, that may be true. Like this is the picture. Isn't that adorable? That's a grandma. So when you think about a grandma, that's what you picture. And when I look at myself, I'm like, I don't look like that. But I'm proud to be a grandmother, and I'm absolutely loving it. And I know there are many of us out there, many of us young grandmas out there who feel the same way, but I'm really enjoying this, and it's such an easy way for me to still read and not have to get involved in a 300, 400, 500-page novel, which is what I would rather do with the majority of my reading time. But this is a great way for me to stay on the page, and I'm really loving these essays and stories. And the other one is Stag's Leap by Sharon Olds. Excuse me. This is a collection of poetry that I first saw on Shelly Swearingen's channel, and she absolutely raved about this collection. And so far, as a typical non-poetry reader, I would never have known about this book or Sharon Olds unless I saw her book on Shelly's channel. And another really weird coincidence is I read Sue Miller's book Monogamy month or so ago, 2 months ago. And in that book, Sharon Olds is referred to, and I thought, then it sparked the connection with Shelley's review of this book. So I started reading her poetry. And this book is primarily written after Olds' divorce. She was married to a husband for many, many years. And I've been reading through the poems in order, and I think I've read maybe 6 or 7 so far, and they're really beautiful. And so poetry is another great outlet for me to get in the page and to get into a book. And I'm really loving Sharon Olds' writing style and the content of her poetry. It's quite painful to read because you can read and sense her emotion on the page and what she was going through as her marriage fell apart. So as painful as it is to read, they're beautiful poems, and it's beautifully written and put together. So I'm really enjoying that experience. Now, I have something funny to talk to you about. I lie all the time on my channel. I change my mind, I go back on what I say. And I did something recently that you may find surprising because I made a whole video about how I'm not enjoying e-reading. And what I've been doing lately is I have the Kindle app on my phone, and I will read Kindle books primarily at work. So if I go to the ladies' room, if I take a break, if I actually take a lunch, I'll read a book on my phone. Well, I'm not enjoying that because I don't like reading books on my phone. I don't like reading ebooks on my phone. It's not the experience that I enjoy. And I decided very late in this year that yes, I am going to be involved in the Booktube prize. And I decided I wanted to read nonfiction. And what I discovered was it was really easy and took very little effort on my part to download Kindle books to read for the Booktube prize, because I wanted to make sure I could access everything and I could acquire the books that I needed to read. Well, I traded in 2 older Kindles and I acquired the Oasis. Don't say it. Just don't say it. Just laugh at me in the comments. Write a string of funny laughing emojis. I will be fine with that. I'll probably send you a line of laughing emojis back. But I did buy myself an Oasis for Christmas. And so far, man, I'm telling you guys, this is an awesome machine. I specifically looked for this one because I can read on cellular if I can't get wireless. And the handy dandy page turning buttons. People have raved about these for so long, and it's all true. It's all true, people. I absolutely love them. So I now have an Oasis. Why? I just told you why. Because I can very easily acquire books that I want to read for the Booktube prize next year for nonfiction. I can download them from my library. I can buy them and download them onto my machine. I can take this device to work where I get almost no cell service in my building. Our buildings are funky. We have metal roofs. I don't know why. We barely get reception inside the building. But I can bring this to work now, and I can download books onto my device, or I can buy them on the web through this device by using cellular. And I couldn't do that on my previous Paperwhite. And I would prefer to read on my device instead of on my phone, even though, you know, if I stand on my head and angle my phone the right way at work in the cafeteria, I can get cell service. So that's why I've acquired an Oasis, and so far I am enjoying it. I started reading a book or two on it. And I actually have to go down to my library and renew my library card so I have more access to ebooks and audiobooks. And I keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, but I will get to it by the end of this year. So my voice is starting to go, and that's been my reading week this past week, or my non-reading week. Yeah, and the year is getting away from me. It's, you know, we're now in the last half of December. So, yeah, the Booktube prize is starting in February 1st officially. So if you're still interested in reading for the Booktube prize, you do not have to be a booktuber. I will provide the link of the Booktube prize channel down below, which is operated and run by Robert from Barter Hordes. The Booktube prize has its own channel, so I will put the videos for the channel and for the call to judges if you're still interested. It's not too late. So thanks so much for watching. Let me know if anything that I said struck you, or you have any opinions about any of the books. And hopefully next week I'll be able to read. I'll be able to pick up an actual novel and read it from front to back. We'll see. We'll see. I don't have any plans. I don't really make TBRs typically. I don't have any reading goals. And yeah, I'm just going to try to ride out the end of the year in a bookish way and pick up whatever I want, continue to read poetry and essays, and maybe I'll complete both of those books that I just showed you, and maybe one or two more. I don't know. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.